Our weather pattern stays pretty active in the coming days. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for clicking on to tonight's Weather Extra. Of course, we had the torrential downpours yesterday, the strong winds as well. Tomorrow we have some snow moving in, and more snow looks likely for the weekend. In the near term, though, we've had some snow showers, streamers of lake effect snow off of Lake Ontario making their way across northern Vermont, White Mountains, New Hampshire, and even western parts of Maine. In fact, we captured some of that from our Raymond Skycam during the afternoon. That right there, see some of the trails, that shiny peak. You can barely see Mount Washington on the horizon there as well. Again, that was during the late afternoon hours. A lot of snow showers through western Maine today, and some light accumulations have occurred there as well. I'm recording this a little after 7 o'clock, and we're still seeing some snow shower activity, primarily into Oxford County, into the White Mountains, New Hampshire, Carroll County, and Coos County there as well. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow into tomorrow night, the Weather Service has issued a winter storm watch. Areas in blue, we have winter storm warnings over eastern and northern parts of Maine. Now, the Weather Service in gray has held off in issuing advisories and warnings for a large portion of the area due to the complexity of the forecast. What's happening, we'll have an area of low pressure that will be strengthening and sort of developing right overhead as we go through the early nighttime hours tomorrow. So there's going to be a sharp cutoff between where we see some of those heavier bands of snow, eastern Maine, northern Maine. Looks to be a pretty good bet they're going to get into it, but there will be a pretty sharp cutoff somewhere in here over southern and central Maine during the late day hours and early nighttime hours tomorrow. The big question is does it get going too late in the game, or do we get into some of the heaviest bands of snow? As far as our storm system in its infant stages, it's this little weak area of low pressure approaching the Great Lakes down in here. You see it right in here tonight? It really doesn't look like much right now. I'll show you how this is going to play out. As this little guy approaches, we're going to see this area of low pressure developing during the early nighttime hours tomorrow. So this is 7 o'clock. That is going to determine, it's going to dictate where those heavy bands of snow are, if we see any mixing at the coastline. And based on today's forecast, we could see some mixing with rain at the coast, and it looks to be only at the immediate coast. I feel pretty confident saying by Wednesday we're going to see some sun return, but the only fly in the ointment is going to be a stiff northwest wind. That wind may gust to 40 miles per hour on Wednesday again. Tomorrow morning, for morning commute, no problems. We just have thickening or increasing clouds, teens and 20s. Here comes the snow. I think it arrives right around the time of your afternoon and evening commute. 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, light snow overspreads our skies, and it should be light initially. The big question is, can we get into some of these heavier bands of snow? This is one forecast model. We run in-house here, a 6-kilometer model called Microcast. In case you're wondering, it initializes off the North American model, 12Z NAM. Those of you that understand weather lingo, that's where this model comes from. But based on this, we're going to see at least the potential for some mixing at the immediate coast. It stays all snow over the interior. That's 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Notice some of the heavier bands of snow as well. That's up into the Route 2 corridor, up into eastern parts, central parts of Maine, and heading into eastern parts of Maine by the late nighttime hours. 7 o'clock Wednesday morning, and leftover snow is exiting northern and eastern parts of Maine. We should see some sun return. It's going to get windy on Wednesday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 20s for highs, but it's going to feel a lot colder due to that wind gusting to 40 miles per hour. So this is what we're thinking for snowfall. I think it's a light snowfall accumulation over southern areas. You get up towards the north of Sebago Lake, Lewis and Auburn, 2 to 5 inches of snow into the Oxford Hills, probably slightly higher amounts over towards the presidential range there in New Hampshire. Biggest question I have in my mind is right in here. What do we do with Augusta and Waterville? These areas, I wouldn't be shocked to see them getting into the 4 to 8 inch range here. It still looks like the heaviest bands will be Carrabassett Valley points east. You head up into northern Maine and parts of eastern Maine. If the storm gets going a little earlier in the game, well, yeah, we would have to up those snowfall totals. Just stay tuned to the forecast. There's a little uncertainty as far as how much snow we're going to get out of this one. But that's my best estimate tonight at 7 o'clock in the evening. Tomorrow morning, we're okay. The snow arrives during the afternoon or evening, so your afternoon or evening commute may become a little slippery. It gets windy on Wednesday. It looks brighter. Thursday, Friday look okay. Next storm arrives over the weekend. Decided not to get too fancy with the timing with this. It looks like we're going to see some snow developing on Saturday. The big question there is it a significant snowfall, and will it extend into the day on Sunday? I think that is our best chance for seeing a significant snow in this 7-day forecast. One thing is for certain, the forecast is not boring. We have some snow, we have some wind, we have some more snow, maybe a little rain at the coastline, and some chilly temperatures as well. So it looks like it's going to stay active, to say the least, over the next several days and beyond. All right, that's a look at your forecast. We'll have more updates coming up on Fox 23 at 10, CBS 13 at 11, and Amanda will have more updates first thing in the morning. Have a nice night.